don't have to, but thank you.
All right, very good. So welcome to Mastermind on the 18th of October. We have a special guest with us today, Kayla. Sorry, I'm going to pull this down a little bit so that you can look at her. Kayla East is going to join us for a few minutes and with a couple of announcements that you guys would like to hear and that you're excited about. So without further ado, here's Kayla.
Hi guys. Hi.
Right behind you.
I'll stand over here so they don't have to look back my head. Heard a little baby voice. Okay, a few announcements. I have like 2 announcements. The one main announcement I'm going to start with is we are going to be throwing a Christmas extravaganza for you guys to invite your clients, past clients, current clients, bring your family members. Just to kind of give back for you guys. Last year, I know we did like the photo shoots, but this year we thought we'd make it even bigger. And we're going to do photo shoots while also having extravaganza here. So there'll be a photo opportunity with a Santa and then a photo opportunity with reindeers. Live real reindeers.
2 real reindeer.
Yeah. Never thought I'd have to book a reindeer in my career, but here we are. 2 live reindeers. Yes. Client appreciation. So I'll create a graphic and I'll also send a recap email with all this information, but I just wanted to give it to you guys in person. But I will create a graphic and send it to you guys to be able to send to your current clients, past clients, existing clients. And I'll also probably collect some emails from you guys of other people that you maybe want to target, and I'll send an email blast that way. But I think it would be really great coming from you guys specifically and personally to have a personal invite for the appreciation, because we want you guys to be the heroes on that. And then another addition thing, as I was about to say, we're also going to do a pies. I don't know if you kind of want to go more into that. I don't know like the big thing agent wise with pies, but
yeah, so it's a reverse pot buy. So instead of you dropping it off at a client's house, you're going to ask your clients who would like a pie. They're going to say, yeah, me. You're going to pay for a pie that
we'll buy.
That they're purchasing, but you're paying for it. You're going to
Yeah.
pay 6 out for it. Your clients have the opportunity to come to the event, get all the pictures and everything, and pick up their pie.
And we'll also have like some
Even at the Santa reindeer event?
yes, here.
Yeah,
This is
together.
all one big extravaganza. That's why I was saying like we're gonna go big instead of just doing like a living room photo shoot for your clients. We're gonna do a big extravaganza, and they're gonna get pictures with reindeers and Santas. Also do the pie, and then we'll also have like cookie decorating, and then some like apple cider and hot cocoa, and people just getting to hang out and mix and mingle and have a fun Christmas party. So yes, I will send out a forms free, a Google Sheet questionnaire, and have all of you guys fill out the amount of pies that you want to purchase for your clients, and then like the amount per pie. It's about like $15 a pie ish, and I put that in there too, and I'll remind you in the email recap. But just so we have an idea, because I'm going to go pick up all the pies in bulk. I also put in there like what type of pie you want. So that's pretty much everything for Christmas extravaganza. If you guys have any questions.
What day is it?
Oh, duh. Yeah, you're gonna have to come with that. It's December 9th from 12 to 4. It's a Saturday.
And we will have a calendar invite.
Yes, calendar invite as soon as I email. Also a recap email, or as soon as I leave this meeting, recap email with the forms free for you to fill out for the pies, and then I will get you the graphic hopefully by the end of this week. Our graphic designer is working on that right now. So if not this week, for sure next week, for you guys to start sending out to your clients to save the date.
And are the pictures, they're not going to have to select a time for them to take
No,
a picture, right? Like
right.
get in line and then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that making it a comment, we'll have the pictures will be from 1 to 3. The event's from 12 to 4, but we'll have the reindeers and the Santa here from 1 to 3 and 2 photographers on each section. So it should go quick because we'll have a photographer stationed at both sections. But
Do the photos get printed right there on site, or
No.
is it one where they like have to go in and order and buy? And
no, we'll edit them inside on our end, and then we'll send it back out into, like, we'll be able to have a link where all of them are in there, and
Okay.
everyone will be able to share with all their clients and people that signed up. That's another way I think that will be good. I'll be creating a free Kindle event, kind of anyone's coming to a house show. When they sign up, then it'll automatically give me their email, and then I'll use all of that email software to just send that link back out. So once you have a for sure approval that someone's coming, just like, great, awesome, I'll get you more information. And once I create that free Kindle event with a link, I would share that with all of you guys to also share to your clients.
The goal of this was just like, okay, instead of, because last year we did the photos for all the clients that would want one, and we didn't really get like a great turnout. Some clients like loved it, and then other clients were like, it's just a pain to like, a photo shoot is a pain for like moms, dads, with kids, like the schedule. And so we were like, how do we throw an event at minimal cost to agents that like could super benefit you guys, that would be something that's attractive and something that you could like, for the cost of a pie to your clients, which you probably would do something like that anyways. For clients you want to like network with, you're already spending that money. So what can we do as a brokerage to like really lift that up, and create an event that's like special fun that someone would actually want to come to.
Right.
And so really the purpose is client appreciation, growing, pushing that network. I mean, that's the whole purpose of this, and using reindeer to do so.
And for you guys to be part of it too, because like the last photo, y'all weren't getting to be a part of that with your clients. So like this will be fun for y'all to also be a part of and be there with them and like support them. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you want your picture with the reindeer.
It's like, it's just easy, light engagement. It's like, especially when if you have like 5 clients show up, it's like for a specific photo shoot, you're like having to, but this you can like, they're going, doing their thing, quick touch points, and it's really high level special moment, minimal touch point, minimal cost. And so that's kind of the point and purpose of it.
If you do want to do the photo shoot, Tasha and I have done that for like 3 or 4 years. So we know how to do it. So if you want to do it, I can tell you how to do it. Because it's a good event. We always have a great turnout.
Yeah,
we had like 26 families last year.
We did it last year, and it was good.
Yeah.
It worked for the families that wanted to come. I just think this is a better draw.
Absolutely. I'm just saying if in the future, if y'all want to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, next update, and then I'll get out of this meeting. We're also doing, do you want to talk about it? Do you want me to talk about it?
Okay. So we're doing Parker County's spin on the health show. So we're doing, it's called Party on the Patio. So it's going to be on November 4th. So we're going to push it out to Parker County first, and then Monday, she's going to send out the link interim to 6th Ave, and then we're going to push it out to the public. But it's at Annabelle Ale House. It's from 7 to 10, and we hired a band. They're going to have it, and we're going to give 2 free drinks per client who comes. But same thing, pre-handle, signing up, have to have tickets, have to be over 21. So that'll go out Monday to interim 6th Ave. So make sure to sign up if you don't want to miss it, and then she'll push it out every, 10.
And what day is that?
November 4th.
November 4th.
Saturday.
November 4th from 7 to 10.
So I don't know if you want to say anything else about that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be super fun. Tosh and Holly have done like a great job of bringing in sponsors and also like really fun things. I know at our last two house shows, we had like the bracelet lady, but they've done a really good job of like connecting with even more sponsors and people to have fun things. We're going to have like hats, like the trucker hats that you can make that are personalized. Also the bracelets still.
Yeah.
We're giving away to our Lucchese boots this time. Last time was Dakota's. This time we're giving away Lucchese boots. What else are we doing? They're obviously the live band is going to be showing. They are openers for what?
Well, so it's called the Red Iron Push, and they do anywhere from Eagles to Chris Stapleton to what else? Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they do a whole bunch of. They do have their original songs and everything. So, we're super excited about them. Like I heard them, I was like, oh my gosh, I love them. So, anyways,
so it's going to be super fun. And it's out on a patio, like we said, so that'll be fun. We'll talk. Obviously, we'll have to look at the weather and remind everyone where some jackets.
Annabelle, so Tasha and I went to Annabelle on Monday just to kind of do like a final recap and everything. So she said, the manager said they should have their heaters out by then. So if it's chilly, hopefully they do. Yeah,
I can guarantee it.
Yeah. So she said it costs. They have like I don't know. She said so many tanks, and they spend like $10,000.
It's super expensive.
Like within a season on propane. So she said we try to wait till the very last minute to put them out. She said that's
Just when it's fun.
Yeah.
Thing is,
But they'll put them in
showing up.
So anyways, it's going to be super fun. So don't miss it.
But I'll send out once again another link and everything. We're gonna Holly just said, we're gonna push it out to Park County first, but then we're gonna open it internal, and then we'll open it up to y'all's clients as well.
So if like Fort Worth has clients that are in Parker County, can they get
reach out to
Do that?
first. Yeah. I mean,
Like, could they be
and
part of the
yeah,
Parker
because
County group?
Part of this is also, yes, client appreciation, but the bigger push, honestly, is brand awareness in Parker County. So that is one of the bigger draws that we wanted to do this event, is because we are trying to push so hard for homes in Parker County. So that's the bigger push too, is just brand
Around the
awareness.
time. But
Yeah, if you
at
have,
least to invite them.
I would assume that Parker County people are gonna wanna come, people from other areas probably not gonna drive out for 2 free drinks.
Yeah.
I would think, so yeah, I would think Parker County,
My people will probably
clients
show
be
up
the
for 2
ones that
free
will
drinks.
show up, yeah.
yeah.
But they're in your
Take
neighborhood, yeah.
pictures And yeah.
And if you have Parker County people that you're thinking of already,
Yeah.
Send them,
we can send them,
send them the email to me.
because she has the link and she can share it with them. Cool, good.
Great.
If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll send y'all a recap email.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thanks, guys.
Very good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on slightly. Thank you, everyone online, for joining us. Good to see Bell County joining us. Hello, John, Becca, and Cherie. We never get to see y'all very much, but it's very good to see you on our screen today. Okay, a couple of things that I need to kind of hit before we get into the meat of today's mastermind. Like we said last week, 5 days in advance for CDA approval with Victoria. Victoria and I did a scout last night, and we were under the impression that the CDA instructions were on the backside, but lo and behold, that link is broke. So we're going to go figure that out, and we're going to fix it. Everything needs to be in ReChat and submitted for approval with your CDA. Once your CDA actually goes to Victoria, that's when she is alerted that you need a CDA published. Okay, so that's why we want that done. So all of your documents need to be in ReChat. They all need to be initialed and signed, because that gives her time to go back, review all of your documents for compliance, get back with you through Slack, text, and email, and say, hey, you're missing an initial on the seller's disclosure, you're missing the LVP, whatever the case may be, and then you can get that done. Once she responds to you, please get that back to her quickly. So 5 days in advance is what we're asking for. There are situations that's not reasonable. We understand that. We'll do what we can. On the lead, go ahead.
I have a question. Do you also make those documents like as they're completed, or do you do them all like at the
It doesn't
end
make
of the
any
week
difference.
before?
It doesn't make any
Okay.
difference, because until you submit the CDA, she can't see anything.
Okay, so even if like you did the seller's disclosure early,
So you
she's
can,
not gonna look at it until you do the CDA.
correct.
I always
She-
just submit them for review, and because that marks it as done. So
And then
in my
you
mind,
do-
I know.
But she doesn't know
But
that.
She does not see that until you submit the CDA.
Yeah, and then she can see everything.
Then once that is done, it's a trigger inside ReChat. Then she knows to go and look at your documents for compliance. So as you upload them, like I've showed you guys, and we're going to show you again in about a month, well, a couple of weeks, hopefully. Once you upload your documents to ReChat and you file them where they're supposed to go, and then you can click for review, submit for review, click submit for review. That's fine. That means that it shows yellow on your side that it's done, but she doesn't see any of that. I thought that too, but it doesn't until the CDA is the trigger inside ReChat. So, okay, next thing. In case you missed it, the new leasing procedures document is in the quick links in Slack. Also, the lease payment request is in Slack under the quick links. On leads from the office. So just so that everybody is aware, I want to make this one announcement, and I'll make it a couple of times. If we get a lead and I'm distributing it to one of you, the first person that I send it to, you've got 15 minutes to get back with me and say, I accept. The reason is we need speed to lead. Okay. You need to be able to contact this person, either text, email, voice, video, something. 15 minutes is where I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I've moved on to someone else. I mean, no disrespect to you. If you're at a football game and you can't get there, I get it. But 15 minutes, I need to give it to somebody else so that they can get on that lead. Referral exchange, the leads that are coming from them, they actually time us on how quickly we get to the lead. And then we get better leads if we respond quicker. So 15 minutes is I literally, when I send you a text message and I say, hey, I've got a lead, would you like to accept it? I start my clock right then and it's 15 minutes. And at that point, I'm going to move on to somebody else. And I mean, no disrespect.
Did you say by text or by Slack?
I do it usually. The only person that I can't text is Megan Hutchins. I don't know why my text will not go through to her, but I have to Slack her. And so I will Slack her. Everybody that I know I'm getting responses from pretty regularly through text, I'm just going to text you. I usually don't have the ability to do multiple platforms. If I do have the time, I will. I'll do what I can do.
Yeah, text is good.
Text is usually the best, but Slack is my backup. If I don't hear from you in 5 minutes, I'll probably Slack you. Okay. Okay. Please use the subject matter experts. That link is also in Slack under the quick links. Okay. A couple of big announcements. I'm going to start in order. So our Halloween party will be here at the office on Halloween Day. Costumes are required. Please come, wear your costumes. Are we giving prizes away for this? Best costume gets a prize. So come for that.
And the top three, just to kind of be aware, there'll be a top three. We'll do a performance or an acting out of your character.
So be careful what you wear.
You know, if you're a ghost, you gotta be spooky and whatever. So we had someone come as like a pop star singer, and they had to like sing and perform. They also won that year. We've had some pretty good performances. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
So please wear your costumes. It's a fun event. We have a lot of fun. It's a great culture building thing for us. We all get to spend time together once a week anyway, but this is an extra special one on Halloween Day. And the time is, remind me, Jimmy, do you remember? 2 to 5.
There is a treasure chest of costume past. Will be asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting
Really
it.
sad banana.
Okay. Couple of big things that we have coming. Jimmy is spearheading, and we're going to have a website building day on December the 6th from 9:30 to 4 p.m. We'll have a calendar invite going out for that. This is where we're going to actually have a template that is part of like the 6 staff homes, looks like that kind of website. So that will be website building day on the 6th of December. Then the following week on the 13th, we will have website training and Real Scout implementation of how that works and why you need to be doing that. We hope to have Jamie here to help with that on the 13th. So December 6th and December 13th, calendar invites going out.
And for the 6th, just so you guys know, we're going to schedule it in like 45 block increments. And so we're going to have someone from storytelling, Kayla, and then also Victoria here to basically build your website with you right then.
Yeah.
And so you'll have like a requirement of like photos to bring. Danielle's still working on the photo shoot. And like bio written. And there'll be some things like in order to book a slot, you'll have to have a lot of those things done already in a Dropbox folder or in a Google account folder, whatever. And then we'll basically add that stuff in there, and then we can customize it a little bit, and then also teach you Squarespace just a tad bit on how to because you can edit it yourself. Once it's yours, it's like we'll give you the access to it and everything, and you can do everything yourself. You can add pages, you can add as much as you want to it, but we'll hyperlink your Real Scout to like a search engine. We'll hyperlink any other thing that you want us to do. So it's pretty awesome. It's going to be a really cool thing. So my goal is just every agent should have a website. The website acts as a funnel. Every agent should have it. Let's give one, and if we're going to have one, let's make it good. Let's make it really good. So, the last thing there is you will need to purchase your own domain, and I'm going to send a link on how to do that and where it's easiest to do that. So I'll send all that out in the next 2 weeks probably.
Very good. Thank you, Jimmy.
Not that I will ever leave 6-7 homes, but
Yeah.
then that domain,
You own.
okay.
Yeah, it stays with you. Now, granted, we're giving you a 6-7 homes templated website, so it won't be really useful if you go to Compass, whatever, But
You still own the domain.
but you would know the domain, which would be mariaisawesome.com or whatever it is.
And you
and
want
so-
to own your own domain. For
Yeah,
sure.
and so we want to do that because I understand you go and everybody goes to different brokerages and things like that. So we're not trying to be stingy, So if you go somewhere, you still have your, and We taught you how to manage a website. You can go and tweak it yourself to do your own branding. And we just want to set you up for success no matter what. And so that's kind of the goal.
Again, I'm not eating.
Also, okay, so that week is going to be very busy, the 6th through the 13th, because the 6th is the website building day. Then the 10th is Sunday. We're having our Christmas party at Joe T. Garcia's. So we'll put that calendar invite. It's probably already out, is it not? Everybody get that one? No?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it came out, you said it's the 10th?
December the 10th, Sunday night, we'll be at Joe T. Garcia's for our 6th Ave Christmas party. That, okay, so just mark it off on your calendar so you know.
It'll come out in the next 2 days.
Okay. I have something that I need to kind of hit with you guys. So that I don't know if you guys know about what's going on with the NAR lawsuits in Missouri, but buyer representation is being challenged mightily. It's a class action lawsuit against the NAR, Keller Williams, and Berkshire Hathaway. What they are saying is that and this is, I'm just going to read because I summarized it yesterday. So the plaintiffs on this lawsuit had a listing agreement with the broker and agreed to the compensation in the listing agreement, which is they agreed to pay the listing agent a percentage and a buyer's agent a percentage. I don't know what those numbers are. We can assume how we do our contracts here in Texas, what those numbers were. But they got to closing and they also understood that they would be compensating the buyer's broker, and now they don't want to pay the buyer's broker. And so they're challenging our entire industry on buyer's agency because of this. It is very important that we as agents communicate to our sellers and to our buyers how agency works. A lot of times I've been the biggest guilty person here of I'm going to represent you and the seller is going to pay my commission. Can't really say that anymore. What you need to do is communicate and say to the seller, this is the way that it works in Texas. It is normal for a seller to pay the listing agent, and then I give half of my commission that you're paying me to a buyer's broker that we compensate the buyer's agent with. I have no idea what the buyer's split is with their broker, but the way it's going to work is, Holly, you're going to pay me X percent, and I'm going to give half of that X percent to a buyer's broker who will then compensate their agent. Yes, you, Mr. Seller, are paying both of us for this transaction. Why do I need to do that? Well, if a buyer has to pay their own agent as 3%, that's going to take a lot of the buyers out of the buyer pool, because an extra 3% on a $300,000 house is $9,000. A lot of buyers don't have that money to give. So in Texas, this has become the custom for the seller to pay that. Does that all make sense? You understand that in your head, you have to communicate it. We're going to watch a short video right now that I'm going to present from NAR, because this is kind of helps you explain it a little bit better from the NAR's perspective and what they are fighting. Bad news is RE/MAX has already settled on this. They said it could take up to a year for that to be approved by a judge, but RE/MAX settled with these plaintiffs. And somebody else did too. I forgot who it was, but somebody else settled on this particular lawsuit. The other one,
No,
That's my question.
that is, I'm sorry. Settling is a good thing, actually. You want them to settle. You don't want it to go to court and the judge rule it. So like that to me is like, as long as you have the legal documents on the front end, I think you'll be fine. And so I wouldn't like, from a worry standpoint, it's like very low.
the pundits are saying that that's a bad thing.
I know, but like you don't have a judge ruling on it.
True.
And so you now have legal precedent that people have settled. So there's like guilt in saying, so that means like rulings and judgments and rules could come down later,
Mhm.
but it also doesn't mean that it's
A fine line.
thankfully.
Right.
So that's,
Well, go ahead.
So on the listing agreement, should it just say 6%?
That's how the Texas contract is
Yeah.
done.
uh-huh.
But then there's another section in there where you tell how much you're going to give to a buyer's agent. So some of it, I'll let you guys go read this on your own, because there's a lot of information that I would like for you to hear, but I don't have an hour and a half to present it to you.
Tasha did what, I don't know, she can't see it. She wanted to interject because if you want to know anything about that, she's your girl because she's dug way deep into it. But she said, don't advertise to a buyer because it's a free service to you. Because if for whatever reason the seller doesn't agree to pay the buyer's agent, then you want to still get paid.
Expected to
Yeah,
pay.
so that you're
They
gonna
need
want
to know that.
so yeah, just don't advertise that. Typically in Texas, a seller pays, but if this goes down in any way negatively, it could impact the way the buyer's agents are paid. And you have to think about VA buyers. Yeah, and you have, yeah, and first time home buyers, they don't have that.
There's a lot of caveats to this. Let's watch this video real quick and then
Real
we'll
estate
go on.
transactions are the biggest purchases most people make in their lifetimes. But how do the real estate professionals who facilitate these transactions get paid for the services they provide? Let's take a closer look. First, agent compensation is always negotiable. Always. Compensation is negotiable at the outset or as agreed to by the parties at any time before the transaction closes. Second, those costs are spelled out to both buyers and sellers. As part of the written listing agreement, sellers decide what fee they are willing to pay for their agent's services and how much of that fee should go to a real estate agent who finds the buyer. Buyers are told their agent is being paid by the listing agent and how much. At closing, both sellers and buyers are reminded how much each agent is being paid and by whom. To maximize transparency, the National Association of Realtors also encourages the use of buyer representation agreements to reinforce the services they provide and explain how they expect to be paid. Third, agents usually only get paid if the home sells. For sellers, their brokers are typically paid out of the proceeds of the sale. For buyers, the listing broker pays the buyer broker's compensation, and that's a big deal. Why? Because saving for a down payment on a house is already really tough. If buyers had to pay their agents out of pocket or in advance, it would put homeownership out of reach for even more Americans. And fewer buyers means fewer people able to bid on homes that sellers are trying to sell. At the same time, sellers don't have to pay their agents unless their home sells for an acceptable price. Fourth, because everything is negotiable, there are no standard commissions or service offerings. Real estate agents provide tremendous value. Some consumers want to do more of the work on their own, and some want their agents to do everything. Either way, agents are professionals there to help you navigate all the financial, legal, and community aspects of selling or buying a home. Like all services, real estate agent compensation varies based on service, consumer preference, and the free market, but it also fluctuates. In fact, commission rates have fallen to well below where they were in the 90s, all while real estate agent value has continued to increase. There are many different types of agents with different types of commission structures and levels. Bottom line, sellers and buyers can both utilize and compensate real estate agents as they see fit. So remember these 4 things about real estate compensation. 1, it is always negotiable. 2, costs are spelled out to buyers and sellers. 3, agents usually only get paid if a home sells. And 4, there are no standard commissions or service offerings. What does all this mean for consumers? When you go to buy or sell a home, you have choices. Choices about getting expert help or not. Choices about paying more for greater value or paying less. And choices to negotiate that pay at any time. Only Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Okay, so does that make kind of sense? I just want, I'm not trying to scare you or anything to that effect at all. We just need to be aware of this because this is something that's happening right now. The trial started 2 days ago on the 16th, so Monday. And some of the transcripts I've read said that the plaintiff's attorneys, they just are not getting how this works and how we communicate it. So we've got to communicate it better. That's the bottom line. So that I may get an attorney to come in once this starts to get a little bit further and just give us a real quick class on how this is, what we need to be saying exactly. But that's the best that I've found online at this point. Okay. Thank you guys for staying with me on that. Now we get to the fun stuff that you came for today. So let me start this and let me present this. Okay. Play from the start. Okay. So we've talked, and some people have asked me over the last couple of months while we were getting through the summer and stuff, what does it look like to be a realtor? What do you do every day? What do you do if you have nothing to do? I'm going to give you some ideas. Okay. This is not the end all be all. And this is gleaned from Brian Buffini, Darren Hardy, multiple people, everybody that I've ever listened to. I kind of put all this together and made it something that you guys, I think, will enjoy. So this is what an average day should look like, and not should look like, but could look like if you are doing a effective job of being a realtor. So now some people are not going to be 5 a.m., 6 a.m. risers. I get that.
I woke up today.
You're good.
I did not. I was still spamming. I did not think of Brian when you.
I did.
Okay.
I actually woke up a little bit late this morning. I got up at 5:45, and so I didn't get on the computer till almost 6 this morning.
I worked out. I needed to get
Good. So morning routine. Get ready, get fully prepared. This is for prayer, meditation, visualization, audiobooks, and journaling. From 8 to 9, you prep and review. Now, a lot of us have kids, and so we're dropping kids between 7:30 and 9 o'clock. That's part of this thing, and you kind of have to adjust what that looks like based on what you have to get done that day. But it's a prep and review. So one of the things that Hardy talks about is setting your mind right for what you're going to do for the day, to get prepped. These are the things that I'm going to do. I'm also going to give you something at the end of this presentation called this Sunday planning system. So one thing that I do is on Sunday night, before I send out the 7 o'clock email to you guys, is I plan my week so that I know the big 3 things that I have to get done for the week. Right now, that is Pathway to Mastery, 100 Days to Greatness, and this Mastermind. That's every Sunday. I get these things prepped in advance. So that's part of that daily thing of setting your calendar, your hot sheet. You go check how many houses are for sale in your market. Mine is Tarrant County. I know that there's 4,300 houses for sale in Tarrant County today in that vicinity. So getting those things in your mind of what you're going to do, so you have your elevator speech ready. If somebody says, how's the real estate market? You know what your keywords are. 9:30 to 10. 9 to 10:30, you set up your prospecting, you make phone calls, short media posts, and then take a break, take a walk, spend time, call your dad, call your mom, say hi, do those things, take a break mentally from real estate. 11 to 12, lunch and prep, do a podcast or a TED Talk while you eat, and get ready for the rest of your day. From 12 to 4:30, this is when you do listing presentations, this is when you do meetings, meet with clients, set up meetups here at the office or at a coffee shop. If you don't have appointments, use this time to prospect or set up future appointments. So you're constantly on the phone trying to get things in advance. 4:30 to 5, very important that you wrap up your day. You look back and see, these are the things that I accomplished today. And it's good for you to see those things because that gives your brain a win. Make sense? Okay. From 5 to 7, this is dinner and family time. Schedule this and say from 5 to 7. Now, are you going to have a listing appointment at 5:30 on a Thursday? Yeah, you are. But that's when you schedule things around and say, hey, you know what? I'll spend some extra time with the family from 4 to 5:30 before I have to go to that appointment. If that's in your wheelhouse. It's about time blocking, about moving things around. 7 to 10, this is personal time, time with your significant other. This is a scheduled thing too. If you don't have listing appointments, you need to schedule time with your family. If you don't remember The Godfather once said to one of the guys, are you spending time with your family? That was more important to him than what he was doing in his business, because one of the things that our core values talk about is faith, family, and work. Those are the things that we value in our life. Schedule the time with your family. I take Saturdays and Sundays and block those times. Now, will I go show a client on Sunday afternoon after church, after lunch with the family? Yeah, sure. I'll run out and show 3 or 4 houses. I'll do a listing appointment. I'll work with agents in the afternoon. But I'm at church in the morning and then I'm having lunch with my family, then I can talk about something else. 10 to 5, that's the sleep time. You know how you are. Kristen is big on, she's going to be up later than most people. She's a night owl. So I know that Kristen's probably saying 10 p.m. to go to bed. Are you kidding me? She's going to bed at 12 or 1. But you just adjust your schedule accordingly to how your day is going to run. Okay, so your time management wizard. Brian Buffini has it this way. The first thing you want to do is you want to lay out your year. So when you start looking at a calendar, lay out the big things. This is when I'm going on vacation. This is when spring break is. This is when the kids are out of school. Lay out your entire year. You plan a month. So if you're looking at a calendar, you plan your month of the things that you're going to do for your clients and for your business in a monthly block. Then you schedule your week. So on Sunday, I schedule everything that I'm going to do for the week. Now, do things pop up? Yeah, they do. But that's where the scheduling comes in. You leave blocks of time for those things that need to get done. Are you going to have a barn on fire, Danielle? Okay. And you need to leave some room for that. But by doing it this way, lay out the year, plan the month, schedule the week, and then prioritize your day. That's where all this comes in. So a lot of times you can schedule your next day or prioritize your next day in that 4:30 to 5 p.m. slot the day before and say, these are the things that I'm going to get accomplished. I'm going to leave some room for error and for barns on fire. And you know you're going to get a phone call. You know you're going to get a text message where you have to do something else. But turning that phone off for those specific times, power hour, lets your brain really focus. These are the important things that I need to do. Prioritize the day. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of things here. This is from Darren Hardy. Always start with the personal and professional end results. You need to ask yourself, what are my real estate goals? And then schedule the time to produce those results. Ask yourself, what are my goals? My goals are, I need to get this house listed this week. What do I need to accomplish that? I need to do a pre-listing appointment. I need to do a takeoff of everything property. I need to get it in MLS. And then I need to send out all the documents that go along with that. Plus, I need to send out the seller's disclosure through Seller Shield, or if you do a personal thing, however you do it. But those are things that need to be scheduled. Here's when I'm going to do those things. Because if you're flying by the seat of your pants, you're going to miss something. Schedule the time. Next, avoid, oh, I hit one. Let me back up one. I need, actually went too fast. Do the important stuff first. When you're looking at your day, schedule for the morning. When you're looking at your week, schedule for Monday and Tuesday. Why? Because if you schedule for the morning, then you've got some room for error in the afternoon. If you schedule for Monday and Tuesday, you've got room for error on Wednesday and Thursday before you get to a weekend. And then you're busy showing clients because you're showing Saturday and Sunday to people from Ohio. So schedule early. Avoid time wasters. So the social media will eat your lunch if you let it. I don't know about you, but if I get into a scroll mode, I can scroll for 20, 30 minutes. And how much time do I waste doing that? So over the last 6 months, I have just put down the social media, except for 15 minutes in the morning to check and see whose birthday it is. And if I missed anything important from a family member, and then I'm done. I literally don't look at Facebook probably the rest of the day. I don't look at Instagram the rest of the day because I need to focus on the things that are important to my business, to my family, and to my personal. Block your schedule so there's no room for them. The hardest thing to do is to put it down, but that's the best thing you can do is to put it down. Do everything in blocks of time. I think I've said that several times, but if you're doing them in blocks, it's easier to move a block around than it is to just say, oh, I'm going to get to this here.
I tried to write it, but he's moving too fast for me to write it.
Put it on your calendar. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And I know you guys have heard me say that, but even like our quarterly catch-ups, I want to talk to everybody, but I have to do it in blocks of time, and I have to set that time aside. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist unless the barn's on fire and a text message has to be sent. That's okay. But for big things, for important things, it needs to be on your calendar. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret that Brian Buffini has, and this is called the winning formula. And it goes 2 by 4 by 3 by 8. Now, don't try to do the math because it doesn't add up to anything important. This is the way Brian describes it. If you do 2 hours of lead generation per day, you win the day. So 2 hours a day, time block it and do it. 2 hours of lead generation per day and you win the day. Next, if you can do that 4 days a week, you win the week. So just over 60% of the week, you're going to be doing 2 hours a day. If you can do that 4 days, that's 8 hours of lead generation per week. You win the week. If you can do that 3 weeks out of a month, you win the month. So 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours a month of lead generation, you win the month. Here's the beautiful part. If you can just do that 8 times a year, you win the year. And I guarantee you, if you can do 2 hours of lead generation per day, you will see massive results. Now, lead generation can be calls, notes, pop buys, the things that we talk about in 100 Days to Greatness and Pathway to Mastery. So making your calls, writing your personal notes. That's one thing I use Facebook for, is I get on there and see if something important has happened so I can write a personal note. Hey, saw on Facebook that you got a new dog. How cool is that? Something simple like that just creates that link to that person. So that is the Brian Buffini system. 2 hours per day, 4 days per week, 3 weeks per month, 8 months a year. You will be a rock star in real estate if you can do that. I'll be glad to share this presentation with you on Slack. I'll just put it up there as a PowerPoint. You're able to grab the stuff. I have one more slide, and this is the Sunday Planning System by Darren Hardy. His secret number 1 is go after big goals. His saying is, for everyone to whom much is given and from whom much has been entrusted, even more will be asked. Go after big goals. When you set your yearly calendar, set big things. So let's just say that you closed 20 houses last year. This year, go for 35. That's a big goal. But that's something, and once you write it down, it gains power. I don't know if the Pathway to Mastery people from yesterday, I wrote those goals and I put them up on Slack and I printed them off and I put them behind my desk so that every time I turn around, I see my goals. And writing the goals down, and I told you guys, I struggle with goals. I really struggle because I don't know what I want to do next year. I know what we want to do as an office. We're setting goals from a leadership over the next 30 days, 45 days. We're going to set goals for next year. It's hard to set goals, but once you set them down and you write them down, then they have the chance of becoming a reality. The more you see them, kind of like words of encouragement, words of affirmation that you put on your mirror, those are important things. Number 2, wholehearted devotion. No man can serve 2 masters, for he either will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. So be careful what you put as a second master. If real estate is your business and that's what you do for a living, it has to hold a place in your brain. Like we just talked about earlier, faith, family, work. Make sense? Number 3, the Genesis deadline. It's a much deeper thing that Darren Hardy goes into, so I'm not going to try to hit that hard, but this is basically what the synopsis of his saying. God created heaven and earth in 6 days. Was it to set an example of a work week? 6 days. On the 7th day, God rested. If you're not taking a day of vacation or day of personal renewal, you need to consider that. Take a day for yourself, for your family. Ladies, go get your nails done. Go get a spa day. Take some time for yourself. Enjoy your life, because we're going to work hard at this. Again, going back to Brian Buffini's algorithm, his formula, 2 hours a day of lead generation, 4 days a week, 3 weeks a month, 8 months a year. You win the year. If you can do that, you will be a rock star real estate agent. Now I open the floor up to any conversation that we want to have. I apologize, I got warm doing that.
I will say, especially for
the ones that have big enough. I know you're playing. But I got told when I was in title, when I was trying to climb the ladder there, that I would never make it in the world because I always put my family first. Like I was pregnant with one and I had like a 3-year-old. So I would always leave close to 5. I really wasn't willing to stay much after that and everything else. And my office manager at the time, she's like, you're never going to make it in this world. But that's not true because I'm 100%, I put my family before anything, before my work, before anything. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't feel like you can't do that because I've been pretty successful in this industry. So I've not missed many baseball games and things like that. So I just encourage you to don't be afraid to put your family first.
I would do. So back off of what Holly said. When I used to help coach, she used to say, we all talk about a balance, and we should have balance, personal, business. For me, the balance was like during holiday time and all the birthday parties, because we were at the end of the year, then I was pretty slow. And then in the beginning, like spring and summer, then I was pretty busy. But that was my balance. That when it's go, 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 I'm a go. But then at the end of the year, it slows down when I'm able to be making tamales, making pozole, and all of that stuff. That's my balance. So I think that the balance for everybody is probably different because that balance of, oh no, I'm not going to that, but I think that everyone's balance is different.
Yeah.
Well, and Brian Buffini has often said balance. A lot of people think balance looks like this because you see the scales, like the scales of justice or whatever, Lady Liberty, how that thing. Balance does not look like this. Balance looks like this. Because sometimes you're at work and sometimes you're with family. And sometimes you're at church and sometimes you're doing something with your friends. But balance is a balancing act. Janet, you have your hand raised. Please jump in.
Yes, I just like to add to that. I mean, I agree with everything that Holly and Maria said, but I do think that there is a certain time frame when you're starting a business where you have to have maximum throttle for at least a minimum time frame. You have to be all in 100% just to get to cruising altitude. We all have to have a certain amount of income on a monthly basis. And so you can do that and still balance your life. It's just a little more intense up front, and don't be afraid to carve out some extra time. I mean, because you're going to get to cruising altitude and then it gets better and better as your business matures. And so I just kind of want to put that little piece of hope out there too. If for those of you that are like, I'm working to death, there'll be fruit in that. I mean, we reap what we sow. So just keep sowing those seeds and try to find the balance. I am a big believer in having a day of rest. I think that's real important to refresh your soul and be prepared to give your best the rest of the days.
Thank you, Janet.
One thing also that I've been really hitting home on, our pastor always talks about margin, and he's talking about margin in your personal life, but we've really talked about having margin even in our business life. My husband gives us a hard time because we'll sit there, be texting at 9:30 at night, and he's like, seriously, so we've talked about need to have a little bit of margin, even in our business, to just take a break, take a mental break. And so I think that's just in personal and in business.
Anybody else? Questions or thoughts about how to? I kind of I started to put this into something like what to do when you don't have anything to do. Because a lot of people that's their mindset is, okay, well, I'm a realtor now. What do I do? Well, there's lots of things you can do. And if you don't know those things that you need to be doing, please come see Jimmy or I. I promise we can get you plenty of things that you can be doing in your personal life to elevate your business to a new level. All of our subject matter experts are more than happy to tell you some of their secrets and tricks that they've done. Writing notes, making phone calls, sitting down and literally clearing your mind and thinking about every person that you know, and then trying to contact those people, get their contact information to add them to your database. Huge. That's one of the things that Brian Buffini taught on in the Peak Producers class that I took, was that you need to go and sit, turn everything off, and think about every person you come in contact with every week. How do you know those people, and how do they connect to you? Do they know that you're a realtor? Do they know what you do for a living? That can be a 2-hour. setback, to sit down and not setback, but to sit down and just clear your mind and think about all the people that I come in contact with every week. Now, luckily it's all y'all. So I'm pretty good. I know all y'all. I know what y'all do. But you have other people in your life. You have football, or you have school, or you have daycares, and you have all these people that you contact with, that you're in contact with. Do they know what you do? Write them a note and tell them. Thank you for meeting me outside of the daycare. I didn't know if you knew that I do this for a living, but here's my card. If you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell, I'd be happy to help them. Anything from Bell County? You guys good? Anything to say? No, just thumbs up. Okay.
I want to share something really quick. If anybody else wants to share?
Y'all want to share anything?
I do have one thing to share. So at the very end of my day, before I leave, before I shut down, I ask myself, did I email everybody I'm supposed to email? Did I call everybody I said I was going to call? Because if I don't, at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to have a panic attack and I'm not going to be able to rest. So that's where I get my little bit of peace of mind and rest easy at night, because I know that I contacted everybody I said I was going to do and sent out all the emails that I was supposed to send out. So that's my little bit. So I have that note in my desk that I look at before I leave every day to make sure that I did that.
Great advice.
So this has happened to me in business many of times, but it happened to me. The story I have to share is actually happened when I was in high school. I was powerlifting, and I was a big powerlifter, like one of the top in the state, top of the nation, right? And I was like going to this gym. Has anybody seen the Ronnie Coleman? Does anybody know who that is? He's like 8-time Mr. Bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia. So like the biggest dude in the world, right? For 8 years straight. It was like insane. So I went to his gym to powerlift train, and I would go there and I would see these guys just super strong, just as smaller than me. And I'm like, and I am working out 2, 3, 4 hours. Like I'm in high school and I'm like, I'm going to crush them. I'm just going to outwork them. I'm going to like knock it out of the park. And in business, like whenever so the whole point of this is, where are you at in your career with real estate? So are you at the front end? Jana, I'm 100% with you. Like if you're at the front end, you're going to be putting in the hours, like you just period. If you don't have a routine and you're not disciplined, you got to have something. You got to have a coach. You got to have a trainer. That's why you're here. That's why we have Brian, me, 100 Days of Greatness. Like that's what that is. Then you get to a spot where you're like, I've worked really hard. Sorry, I think there's going to be a lot of movement here in a second. You're going to get to a spot where you're like, you're putting in the hours, and you're looking at these people that are also putting in hours, but maybe not as much, or they're putting them differently. And you're like, these guys are getting stronger than me, and I'm working 2 times as hard. And it wasn't until literally Ronnie Coleman came over and he goes, hey man, you got to sleep. And he's the biggest dude ever. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, tomorrow I want you to come in, you were going to work out with me. And I'm like, oh my God. The like champion bodybuilder is asking me to work out. And we go in there and we do 15 minutes of workout. In that 15 minutes, I was more tired and I threw up than I ever have been. And it was just about the type of working out, the type of exercise that we're doing, and the way that we put it together. It came from the mastermind, right? It came from these type of sessions. It came from one of the best, strongest guys in the world, right? And so the point of that being is, at the front end of your career, you're going to have to put in like the heavy amount of work. And I think the reason I'm telling you this story is because I think most of you guys are not at the front end. You guys have already put in, you have a baseline of an idea of how real estate works. If you don't, you got to put in the 2, the 4, 8, 3, 8, right? Whatever that 2, 4, 3, 8.
2 hours, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
3 months.
Like if you just do that, you're good. Like you will succeed. You will thrive. And then you work in balance. Then you work in kind of your way of doing things. Then you go and you kind of like, you mentally kind of like, okay, how am I working out? How am I doing real estate career? I need to have more balance. I need to do this. But you're going to add in these extra tools, these extra ways of doing things that you haven't done before. You have to work out. You have to stay disciplined. So whenever you ask yourself, why am I not growing? What is missing? And I think the whole point of this is you have to have these moments of self-reflection and self-assessment of what else can I add? What else can I throw in here to grow? Like, what am I missing to grow? And the reality is the number one answer is going to be discipline. That's like, if you're not growing, it's because you don't have your baseline discipline. You're not working out. Like that's the number one answer. Why am I not growing? I'm doing all this. I just added a website. I just did this. Well, you're not doing the baseline stuff. If you're not doing the baseline stuff, you can't add in anything else. So that's the number one answer. The second one is you're probably not listening. You're probably just going out, doing your thing, and just thinking that you know it, and you're doing it without coming here, listening, and asking. I didn't ask. I was just sitting there, working my ass off, not growing. And then it wasn't until someone just basically told me, hey, stop, you need to sleep. You need to actually rest. I was like, oh, I was only sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night. I was like going to parties and then working out and, whatever. It's like, oh, I started sleeping. I just got stronger. I started working out less and I got stronger. So I had the balance. And the third thing is like having that mentor. After that, I started working out with him and some of the other guys there. And I had a mentor that like pushed me through, and it just propelled that career. And so I tell you that story to say you're usually at one of 3 spots. You're usually at the beginning and you just need to work your ass off, and you're going to have balance. You're going to find it's going to be hard. And the second is you've worked your ass off, so you've gotten there and you're continuing to do that. And now you probably need to add in that balance. Mm-hmm. And then third, you're going to need a mentor. You're going to get to this third phase where you need a mentor. You need someone who's been doing it for a long time, and you're going to need to ask and listen. And so I feel like in business, that's what I've seen as well in my business, and just like homes and with storytelling, there's always those kind of like 3 huge phases. And so just kind of as you're kind of taking this in of like, you're taking what Brian's saying is like, where am I at? Am I at phase 1 where I just need to work, put in the discipline? Am I at phase 2 where I need to add in balance? Because every one of you guys are saying different things. And it's all good. It's just that not applicable for some people. And it may be because you're at phase 1 and you just need to work. Maybe because you're at phase 2 and you need more balance. Maybe at phase 3 and you need to really rethink, reevaluate. And like, I'm kind of just doing this. If you're doing this, you might be at that phase 3. You might need to go, okay, what else do I need to add into my routine to be disciplined up here, add in and really make this happen. So Holly,
I was going to add on to that. So it's easy to be complacent too. Like you're like, okay, where am I at? You're trying to figure out what phase you're at. So when you feel that, then add in the other little things. But I think the saying is what you do now, you'll see the results in 90 days. So even though in that 90 days you may not see any results at all, don't get complacent. Just keep at it, keep doing it. Maybe add in a few other little things even after the 90 days, and it'll come, be fruitful. But it's just don't be complacent either, because I've been there in my business 100%.
Yeah. I just kind of been hearing, so I was like, I kind of felt like that story was applicable. I've been hearing different little tidbits, and from the different people, it's funny because I can like place you guys where you're at within your career, and like your needs are just look a little bit different. And so that's why this is so great, because you can hear and see people where they're at in their career, and you can see, oh my gosh, okay, I see where you're there. Now ask yourself, what do they do to get there? And so having this mastermind is really helpful. It's really cool to see. So maybe just point out a bigger observation, not teaching anything.
I will say, I don't know if everybody saw our Slack conversation, but we are going to try to meet on Tuesday morning, just in the office. If you need an excuse, like do dedicated work time.
Yeah.
Angela and I did it last year, and I feel like it was super fruitful. Actually, except for me, I did more in the first 6 months of the year this year than I did all of last year, and I believe that's because of the work we put in.
100%.
And so I think there's also something, yes, to be like disciplined, but also have consistency
and accountability.
And if you don't show up and present next year, say, hey, where are you? Or hey, what's going on?
Putting on pants.
It's like, hey, just come in here, that's fine. Like,
Jonas, we don't care. I don't care.
So, the consistency and accountability is huge as well. And also asking them what worked, what didn't,
and what can I do better next time. At least that's where I'm at right now with things. It's like, okay, what can I do better next year? Like, how can I continue to grow mine and build on what I've done in the last 6 or 7 years? So, yeah. Yesterday was not super productive, but we were here.
We were here, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a start. Got to start
Showed
somewhere.
up,
We
yeah.
were here.
Yep.
I'm going to call the meeting at that point. Of course, we can continue to talk. I'll put this up on YouTube so you can go back and watch it later. And I'll put the PowerPoint presentation in Slack. Thank you all for being here for Mastermind. 100 Days to Greatness lunch will be here. It's here. Maddie's here right now. So 100 Days to Greatness, you can start your lunch. And we'll see everybody next week. Maria is going to be talking next Wednesday about following up like a pro. You're bringing breakfast? Wow, cool. John, Becca, thank you guys for joining us. Good to see you, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks everyone for being here.
Bye.
Ugh.